Hey there, everybody. You get to kind of to the end of the year and you go, oh, I remember doing this or that, several years ago that I really did like. One of the things that I really love doing was Shannon Green's Journaling by Fives. I'll put a link in the description box below so you can see her process. The way that she would do things was always very interesting to me. So I picked this book up from the thrift store. I love it because it has some salvage script in it, and things like that are just so intriguing for me. You can tell this is probably a very young girl that wrote this, or a young guy, because they're talking about LOVE and how much they LOVE people, and it's like, ugh, it's disgusting, but it's really so pretty right here, all the handwriting and everything. So I thought it was really cool. So let's talk about basically, this is Shannon's journaling by five technique. So basically, you guys all know this anyway, but for those of you who are brand new to it, you do a 15-minute session. Now, your first 15 minutes is splashing on paint and ink, and then you're going to do collage and recycled materials for texture. Okay, paint and ink, 15 minutes for the background. Collage, recycled, 15 minutes for the texture. Stamps and stencils, 15 minutes for pattern. Words and images, 15 minutes as a focal element. And then pen and pencil, 15 minutes as a detail. So it's really interesting. You come up with all kinds of super cool pages. So I just wanted to kind of do a real quick flip, and you can see what I've done in mine. I think I glued, gosh, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 pages together, but let's see, 100-page composition book. So if you glued 4 pages together, you would have 25 pages. So I think that's what I did here. I like having a book like this because it's a great repository for inspiring quotes. And it also is an art journal. So it encompasses, those two things. I have already lost touch with a couple of people I used to be. That's one of my very favorite quotes, and that's by Joan Didion. When you look back on a lifetime and think of what has been given to the world by your presence, your fugitive presence, inevitably you think of your art, whatever it may be, as the gift you have made to the world, an acknowledgement of the gift you have been given, which is the life itself. That work is not an expression of the desire for praise or recognition or prizes, but the deepest manifestation of your gratitude for the gift of life. You gotta love that, friends. You just gotta love it. Your worst enemy cannot harm you as much as your unguarded thoughts. Ain't that the truth? Let's get rid of some of this light. There we go. That's a little bit better. And this page says, wonderful. She knew that she was formed by God's hands, dreamed up in his heart, and placed in this world for a purpose. Walk with me in the garden of your heart, where I have taken up permanent residence. Love that. I took the letter B and started with beautiful, bold, bright, brilliant, benevolent, beloved, blessed, blissful, and brave. There is just one life for each of us, our own. Euripides. Her absence is like a sky spread over everything. This is C.S. Lewis, A Grief Observed. Painting is very easy when you don't know how, but very difficult when you do. It's a quote from Degas. The light at the end of the tunnel is not an illusion. The tunnel is. And then this one just says time. Comparison is the thief of joy. So true. Let everything happen to you, beauty and terror. No feeling is final. I like taking faces from magazine pages and coloring them in and enhancing them. So this is, it started with this face, I added a bonnet, and then just drew in the rest. Don't ever be ashamed of loving the strange things that make your weird little heart happy. This would be a great little jump off place for a journal piece about the weird things that make your little heart happy. I experienced a weird thing that made my little heart happy. I watched an old 1958 sci-fi movie last night. I love like those 1950s movies, especially when they, at the end, they show some sort of civil defense, atomic bomb, nuclear blast thing. It's so interesting to me. You will find that it is necessary to let things go simply for the reason that they are heavy. Oh man, that's a good one. We hear you, we hear you. Laugh or else you'll weep yourself to death. That is a quote from that Merlin speaks to a young King Arthur in The Once and Future King. I haven't read that book in a long time, and I'm due for a reading of it. Right now I'm reading, I just finished Havana Bay, which was excellent. If I remember, I'll put a link in the description box below. I'm reading The Confession by John Grisham. I'm also reading a book called Lights Out by Ted Koppel, and it is about a grid down situation and cyber attacks. It was written in 2015. Very prophetic. Everything has its beauty. This says marvelous. Books are the quietest, and we were just talking about books. Books are the quietest and most constant of friends. They are the most accessible and wisest of counselors and the most patient of teachers. Charles Eliot. I'm going to paint. Love like I'm on borrowed time. Live like there's no tomorrow. Love like I'm on borrowed time. It's good to be alive. That's lyrics from a song. Oh, that I were a glove upon that hand. Shakespeare from Romeo and Juliet. This one just says gift. Begin again. Every picture tells a story. One of my favorite Rod Stewart tunes. Everything. If you don't like your story, write a new one. And there's where you can write it right there. Global. To build the Taj Mahal, it took 2,155,318 cubic feet of marble, 25,000 plants, over 1,000 nails just in the front gate in 22 years. Talk about an act of love. Fate. The only game in town is the game of being, which includes both highs and lows. And that is a quote from Ram Dass. Life is but a dream, marvelous and magnificent. Merrily, merrily, merrily. Small changes add up. This is a good example of making one thing and then using that one thing as a focal image for something else. So this was an art trading card that I made. It worked out really well in this, in this little layout here. And then the last page just says bliss. So I'm very anxious to get started on my new composition book, Journaling by Fives. And I will be posting my process from painting all the way through to the end, to be 25 pages. I also have a couple of alternative, and these were things I came up with myself, and an alternative number 2, so we can talk about those. We can talk about those later. Okay, Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for watching me flip. Hey, I didn't flip out. Yay! I'll talk to y'all soon. Take care. Bye.